Good morning, students.
Good morning, ma'am.
Morning, ma'am.
Good morning, everyone. Okay, so I think in the last class we have just completed till price elasticity of demand, isn't it? I'm simply sharing the screen. Let me know to what extent we have completed. Acha, have we completed this portion? Types of price elasticity of demand?
Yes, ma'am.
It's done, right? Okay. So then I think today we will start with income elasticity. Is this portion done, income elasticity, or not yet?
No, ma'am.
Okay, let's get started from here. Okay, so what do you understand by this income elasticity of demand? Income elasticity of demand means due to Okay, so income elasticity means due to the change in income, to what extent your quantity demanded is going to change. Okay, so it is a bit different from your price elasticity just because under price elasticity in your denominator, we were just figuring out what was the percentage change in price. And here in this formula, as you can see, only we are measuring the percentage change in income in the denominator. Okay, so that's very simple. As in case of change in price, it was p2 minus p1 by p1. So in this case it is y2 minus y1 by y1. Okay, so y2 is your final income, y1 is your initial income divided by initial income y1. Okay, so basically under this income elasticity of demand, we will try to understand to what extent your quantity demand changes due to the change in income. However, this income and your quantity demanded are positively associated. That means with the increase in income, your quantity demanded will increase, and with a fall in income, again your quantity demanded will fall. So that's why there will be a positive association. So no negative sign is attached to this formula. Okay. So note
Ma'am,
down this. Yes.
can you repeat that? I just joined.
Swati, it's simply the impact, the influence of income on your quantity demanded. To what extent your quantity demanded will change due to the change in income. Okay, if your income increases, your quantity demanded increases, and if with your fall in income, your quantity demanded falls. So that's why there is a positive relationship between them. Okay, it is no way different from your price elasticity of different. Just a major difference is there in the denominator we were measuring percentage change in price. Here we are simply measuring the percentage change in income. Okay, so just note down this formula so that we will be solving a numerical out of it. If anyone has got anything to ask, you can ask me now. Okay, so solve this question. Okay. Okay. So this is the answer, as most of you have got as two, but I think someone has got a bit different answer as six. Okay, Sankar,
Calculation mistake.
calculation mistake. Is it done now? Did you get to know how is it two?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, perfect. So coming down to the next question, not question actually, the next method, that is cross price elasticity. So what happens in case of cross price elasticity? Due to the change in price of one commodity, your quantity demanded for other commodity will change. For example, if I will say that the price of coffee is changing, then the demand for tea will change. And to what extent the demand for tea will change, that we will figure it out by using this formula. Okay, you can see here this formula is exactly similar to your price elasticity formula. The only difference is under price elasticity, we were just considering one commodity. Under this formula, we are considering two commodities, A and B. However, this A and B can either be substitute to each other or complementary to each other. Okay, so how we will know that whether A and B are substitute? We will get to know that if before putting this merge sign we get the answer in terms of positive. That is, why it will be positive? Just because we know that under substitute goods, the relationship between price and demand of two different goods are going in same direction. That is, if the price of tea is increasing, then the demand for coffee will increase, but both are increasing. So as both of them are traveling in same direction, so there will be a positive sign. But when it comes to complementary goods, what happened? With the increase in price of petrol, there is a decrease in demand for car. So there is an inverse relationship. So for complementary goods, before putting the merge symbol, we will get a negative relation. Okay. So in this way, we will understand whether there is a positive association between the goods or negative association. If positive association, they are substitute goods, and if negative association, they are complementary goods. Okay, so note down this formula, everyone, so that we'll move down to the next question. Is it clear to everyone? If anyone is facing difficulty to understand, you can ask me now. अच्छा, तुम लोग को समझ आ रहा है ना धीरे धीरे इकोनॉमिक्स, या इज इट गेटिंग डिफिकल्ट डे बाय डे?
Ma'am, we can understand.
Can understand, right? Easy. Arman is saying easy. Okay. Okay, so are you done with the formula? Can we go to the numerical now?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so solve this question. So from this question, you have to find out the cross price elasticity. Just find it out what is the cross elasticity and what type of goods are they, substitute or complementary to each other. So once we meet in the class, we will have this procedure. Okay, one by one you will be coming to the board and solving it. So don't get worried for that. Okay. So you have to be prepared, because you also know that there is this quiz of 5 marks. Okay. For that, there will be this individual test. You have to solve these questions on board. So for that also you have to be prepared right from beginning. Huh? Okay. And mention it whether they are substitute or complementary. Just don't write it as 2.5. Substitute or complement, guys? Okay. Perfect. So let me show you the answer then. This is the answer to the question. Those who fail to do it, just look into it. You'll get to know how is it solved. So coming down to the next one. So this is the next one, that is your point method or geometric method of elasticity. So what is this point or geometric method? So under point or geometric method, we would like to find out the elasticity of demand at any point on the demand curve. So you can see this GA is the demand curve. So on this GA point, there are many points, okay, such as G, F, E, D, C, B, A. These are the points, okay. So what can be the elasticity of demand on any random point on demand curve? Okay, so these questions won't be asked in numerical form. Okay, this is a subjective concept which we need to simply understand. Okay, okay, so let's take into consideration point C. So if we are taking point C as the point, can you tell me what is the distance of point C from x-axis? Okay, what is the distance of point C from x-axis along the demand curve? Just name it. By the when I'm saying what is the distance, you have to simply name it. What is the distance? You don't have to tell me 1 unit, 2 unit, nothing. Just name it. What is the distance of point C from x-axis along the demand curve? GA is the demand curve. You have to find out the distance from C to x-axis along the demand curve. So how can we name it? This distance. What are the points? One point is C. The other point is
A.
A.
what is this? What can this be called as?
CA.
CA.
CA. Okay. So in order to find out this geometric method, we have a formula: lower segment by upper segment. Okay. For point C, your CA is the lower segment. Similarly, what is the upper segment? The distance of C from y-axis along the demand curve. So what is this upper segment for point C?
G.
CG, right?
CG.
So can you
CG.
tell me? So your lower segment is CA, upper segment is CG. So can you tell me which one is greater, numerator or your denominator?
Denominator.
Denominator.
Perfect. If the denominator is greater than numerator, it will be less than 1 or greater than 1?
Less
Less
than 1.
than 1.
Less than 1. So see, that's why here our elasticity is less than 1. Okay. Similarly, tell me if I am considering point point E. So for point E, what is the lower segment?
EG.
A,
EG.
EG.
A.
A.
E.
EA.
perfect. That's AE, not AG. That's AE. And what is the upper segment for point E?
EC.
Easy.
EG.
EG. Okay. So now you tell me which one is greater, numerator or denominator?
Numerator.
Numerator.
Denominator.
If the numerator is more than denominator, what will be the elasticity?
Greater
More
than
than
1.
Greater than.
More than 1. So that's what we saw here. Here elasticity is greater than 1. Okay. Similarly, can you tell me what will be the elasticity at point A? सोच के बताओ. Just figure it out the with this
0.
formula.
Zero.
How is
0.
it 0? How is it?
Because the lower
This segment
segment
is
is
0.
0.
From zero
Very
by
good.
something.
Very good. The lower segment is 0. 0 by AG will be 0. Similarly for point G,
Highlight.
Infinite.
perfect. Okay. So this is what is represented here. In case you forget this, for simplicity, another figure is attached here. Okay. So at every point the elasticity is mentioned. Along with that, for every point the ratio is also mentioned based on the formula lower segment by upper segment. Okay. Is it understood to everyone? Can we move to the next one?
Yes, ma'am.
Perfect. Coming down to the next one, that's a midpoint method or arc method of elasticity. What is this midpoint method or arc method? As we can see, here this was point method or geometric method. That means simply we are trying to find out the elasticity at any point on the demand curve. Okay, but when we talk about this midpoint or arc method, we will try to figure out what is the elasticity of demand of any segment on the demand curve or any arc. Okay, if I will talk about just what is the uh, elasticity of segment AB. Earlier we were finding out elasticity at point A or point B or point D. Now let me say if I want to find out what is the elasticity of AB segment. So for that we need to find out the average. Okay, so that's why it is known as midpoint method. So what is the formula? That is change in quantity by average of the quantity whole divided by change in price by average of price. Okay, here change in quantity is, as you know it, q2 minus q1. Okay, and what is your average? That will be q1 plus q2 by 2. Similarly, for denominator, change in price is p2 minus p1 and average of price is p1 plus p2 by 2. Is it understood? What is this midpoint method or arc method?
Could you please repeat the midpoint method?
Swati, where are you confused? Can you tell me that?
No, I actually could not hear that due to my
Okay.
network connection.
Swati, it's simply finding out what is the elasticity of any segment on the demand curve. Okay, you can see AB is the segment, or I can say BD is the segment. If I will try to figure out what is elasticity of a segment, I will be using this formula. As in case of this point method, we were simply finding out the elasticity at any random point. Under this midpoint method, we will be finding out the elasticity of any segment or arc. Okay, so that's why it is known as midpoint method. So for that, we need to take the help of average. So this will be the formula for it. Is it understood now?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so this is the final formula for your arc method of or midpoint method of elasticity. So use this formula, and by using this, you have to solve this question. However, remember one thing, guys, if in the question it is asked to solve it using the midpoint formula, then only opt for that. If it is not asked midpoint formula, then simply use your percentage method to solve it. Okay, so find it out, everyone. Okay, very good. Let me show you the answer then. Most of you have got the answer. Okay, so here the value, whatever you get, you have to put it in mud so that you will get a positive answer at the end. Okay, is it clear to everyone?
Ma'am, can you show the question again?
Sure.
Oh, okay. Ma'am, I took Q2 as 10. I mean, Q2 as 8. That's why I got the wrong answer.
Okay, got to know that?
Yes, ma'am.
मैम
Ah,
मैम यहाँ पे क्यू Q2 तो वो
tell me.
8 होना चाहिए ना
क्या?
Q2
Q2
will be
8
the second quantity, right? So it will be 8.
Yes.
It should be 8, right?
Which one is it? I don't get that.
Ma'am,
Ma'am,
Q2.
Q2.
Yes.
It should be 8, right? Because that's the final out, final quantity.
Obviously.
Ma'am, but in the
But
answer
ma'am, in
it's
the
written
formula
10.
that is
The
No,
formula.
just try to understand. If the price of an ice cream cone increases from 2 to 2.20, so P2 is 2.20 and P1 is 2, and the amount you buy falls from 10 to 8. Okay, 10 is your Q1 and 8 is your Q2. Okay, so what is the problem then?
Ma'am, in the
It
question,
should be 8 minus 10
Okay,
left.
okay. The solution you are saying it is reversed, right?
Yes,
ma'am, mod रहेगा तो reverse में कोई दिक्कत नहीं. Maybe that's
Ha,
the
that's the thing. Okay, it will be 8 minus 10. Okay, there I think there it is a mistake. Okay, but however, as there is a mod, the final answer you will get it in terms of positive. Okay,
yes,
it will be 8 minus 10, not 10 minus 8. Okay,
yes, ma'am.
perfect. Okay, you identified it in a very typical way, but that was perfect. Okay, so can we come down to the next one then? Is it clear? Can we come to the next one?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
So
ma'am, please go a bit slow.
okay, so do you require some more time for this question or what?
No, I'm not for this, but as in general, can you go slow?
Okay, then we will go slow. Just let me know, okay, where you are facing this difficulty. Just let me know so that I can just slow it down. Okay. Okay, so coming to the next one, that is your total outlay method, which we also known as, which can also be called as your total expenditure or your total revenue method. So, what do you understand by this expenditure? Can anyone tell me?
What, ma'am?
What is this total expenditure? What do you understand? Let me say if I'm saying that today my expenditure was 100 rupees, so what do you understand by the term expenditure?
The total spending.
That amount we have spent.
Spend.
Amount we have spent. Okay, how can that be I mean, how can you just measure that amount? What is the way to measure that expenditure? How can that be calculated? Suppose there are three, you have purchased
We
three
have bought,
commodities.
suppose we have bought 3 products and 3 different price. We'll calculate all the price
Add
and
Very
all.
good.
Add all
Very
them.
good. Add all them. Okay. So that's what your total outlay or expenditure is. Okay. Here we are saying outlay, expenditure, or revenue. Three of them are a similar concept. Okay. So we can measure this total expenditure by simply multiplying price with quantity. Here I have just taken price into quantity because I am just simply assuming that it is about one commodity. Okay. If it will be about two commodities, then it will be P1 into Q1 plus P2 into Q2. Okay, but as it is just one commodity, so it is price into quantity. That is, if I will say that today I have spent 100 rupees by buying a single commodity which is 100 rupees, so 1 into 100, that's a 100. That is your total outlay or total expenditure. Is it understood, the concept? What is your total outlay or total expenditure?
Yes, ma'am.
समझ आया? Okay.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
So let us just try to link it with your elasticity. Okay, try to understand this one. It is very interesting, this very question. You can see there are three situations I have assumed: A, B and C. ठीक है? Just mark under A, when the price was 10 units of the commodity was demanded, as a result of which the total expenditure was 100. But when the price reduced from 10 to 5, the quantity demanded increased from 10 to 25, as a result of which your total expenditure became 125. Okay, so tell me one thing here, guys, whether the price is increasing or decreasing.
Decrease.
It is decreasing. Perfect. And what about this total expenditure? It is increasing or decreasing?
In.
Increasing.
It is increasing, right? So when there is an fall in price or an increase in total expenditure or vice versa, what I mean to say, if there is an inverse relationship between price and total expenditure, then we can call it as a case of elastic demand. Okay, see, the price is falling, total expenditure is increasing. As there is a as there is an inverse relationship, so elasticity will be greater than 1. Okay, but when your price is again falling here 10 to 5, we will see that your quantity demanded is still increasing. Okay, but your total expenditure is falling. Forget about this quantity, just focus on the relationship between price and total expenditure. Okay, just see, 10 into 10 is 100, 5 into 15 is 75. Under situation C, price is falling or increasing?
Falling.
Ma'am, falling.
What about total expenditure?
Falling.
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 Both are going in similar direction or opposite direction?
Similar direction.
Similar direction.
So if they are traveling in similar direction, that means elasticity will be less than 1. Are you getting my point?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Now coming to section B. What happened in case of situation B? We will see. The price when it was 10, quantity demanded was 10. So total expenditure is 100. But when price became 5, your quantity demanded increased from 10 to 20 and your total expenditure again became 100. Okay. So irrespective of whatever changes that has taken place in case of price, if your total expenditure remains constant, then that is the case of unit elasticity. Okay, so providing you a brief of it, if price and total expenditure, both of them are traveling in similar direction, okay, that means they are less than elastic. Okay, if they are traveling in opposite direction, they are more elastic. If whatever change that takes place in terms of price, if your total expenditure remains constant, that is unit elastic. Is it clear?
Can you just repeat?
See here, if the price and revenue move in same direction, elasticity is inelastic in nature. If price and revenue they move in opposite direction, then it is elastic in nature. If the if the price changes but your revenue remains constant, that is a case of unit elastic. Is it understood now?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, see, whatever I have done it in terms of table. Okay, in the next slide it is very much mentioned in a subjective way. Okay, so even if you're failing to understand from this table while revising, you can simply read the text in the next slide, then it will be very much clarified. If anyone has still any doubt, ask me, because from here we will be solving 3 questions.
Ma'am, could you please explain what is unit elastic?
Ayushman, I'm failing to hear you. Could you repeat it?
Ma'am, could you please explain what is unit elastic once more?
Unit elastic. What is unit elastic, or what is total expenditure in case of unit elastic?
No. What is unit elastic? What do we
Unit
exactly mean?
elastic means, unit elastic, as we have completed in the last class, if there is equal proportional change in quantity and price, then we call it as unit elastic. जितना quantity बदलेगा उतना ही तुम्हारा price बदलेगा, irrespective of the direction. Okay, that maybe price is higher than, I mean the price is increasing and quantity demand is decreasing, but if both of them are changing in similar proportion, that is unit elastic. In case of total expenditure in unit elastic, we will see that even if your price is changing, your total expenditure will remain constant. It is not going to change at all. As you can see here, the price is 10, quantity is 10, so total expenditure is 100. When the price fall from 10 to 5, the quantity is 20, but again total expenditure is 5 into 20 is 100. So what we see here, your price is changing here, but your total expenditure is remaining constant, that is 100. That is the case of unit elasticity. Is it understood now, Ashman?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Yeah.
Anyone has got anything to ask? Can we move down to the numericals then? Okay, perfect.
Ma'am,
Yes. Tell me.
yeah, ma'am, which of the cases are good? Like the product should be elastic or inelastic?
I couldn't hear you, Sneh. Repeat it.
Ma'am, which of those cases are good for the producer?
Good for the,
Producer.
first of
It
all,
will
we
be
are,
increase in revenue, right?
Sneh, we are looking looking into
Yes,
it from
ma'am.
consumer perspective, right? Right from the beginning of this unit, I have told you, as we are talking about demand, so it is basically from consumer perspective. We are not looking into this from the producer's angle. Are you getting my point? It's
Yes, ma'am.
basically the total expenditure from consumer side. So how can you just say about which one is good for producer or not when we are looking into it from consumer perspective?
Yes, ma'am.
Is it understood, Sneh?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so let's come down to the first question. Okay, I will help you out in this first question. Then you have to solve the the next question all by yourself. So you can see here, when the price of a good rises from 5 to 6 units, its demand falls from 20 to 10 units. So you have to compare the expenditure on the good to determine whether the demand is elastic or inelastic. Okay, so tell me one thing, guys. What is the initial total expenditure?
30.
30. 30.
Uh,
100.
Ma'am, 100.
100.
yes,
That's 5 into 20, right? Price is 5, initial quantity is 20, 5 into 20 is 100.
yes,
What is the final total expenditure?
60.
60.
60.
60.
Perfect. So tell me one thing, your total expenditure is increasing or decreasing here?
Ma'am,
Decreasing.
Decreasing.
And perfect. And what about your price?
Increasing.
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 Okay, so here your price and total expenditure, whether they're directly proportional or inversely.
ma'am, inversely.
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 So if they are inversely related, then it is elastic or inelastic.
Ma'am, inelastic.
Elastic.
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 It is elastic. Okay, so see, that's very simple. This is what the answer is. Your total expenditure has fallen down with an increase in price. So as a result of which we can observe it that there is a inverse relationship, resulting which elasticity will be elastic in nature. Is it understood?
Yes, ma'am.
किसी को कुछ भी डाउट है?
No, ma'am.
Okay, so solve this next question all by yourself. It is on unit elastic, so go for it. The logic that I have told you how to figure it out, and then you will get the answer for it. Okay, is there anyone who couldn't solve it, this one, or anyone has any kind of doubt related to this question? Okay, so then for today's class, okay, we will limit it till here. Okay, in the next class, we will start with factors affecting your elasticity of demand. After the next class, I will be simply forwarding this presentation to you people. Then at the end of this week, you can just go through it, and whatever doubts you have, okay, just collect it and let me know in the next week. Okay, but this week we were completing this entire chapter.